Okay. All right. So thank you for joining us for this week's Facebook Live. I'm going to be talking about quick and easy meal and snack ideas that you can put together in a really short amount of time. All right. Okay, I think I lost you for a second, but you're back now. Okay, so a little while ago, I gave a Facebook Live on a guide to meal prepping. And so I think meal prepping is really great when it comes to, trying to make healthy food choices. It also is great for reducing stress around, what am I gonna eat, and always having things ready to go. But with that said, it's like when you meal prep, you're making you're batch prepping a bunch of food at once. And so I still think it's really important to have some go-to things that are quick and easy to make that are going to kind of break up the foods that you meal prep, just to add some variety to your food routine. And so I'm going to be giving you ideas for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. This would be great, if you're short on time to meal prep too, if you can only make it to the grocery store and you can't kind of whip up a big batch of things. It's also great in terms of, using what you already have at home. So I think that's why it's really important to keep your pantry stocked of some things that are gonna that you can use that won't go, that are gonna stay good for a while. So some dry goods or some canned goods, frozen veggies, things like that. So when you can't make it to the grocery store, when you're short on time, you can use what you have in your pantry or in your fridge already. So I'm going to start with breakfast, and a lot of these breakfast foods you can also use as snacks too. So one of my go-to quick and easy breakfasts, and it's really just a part of breakfast because it's not the whole thing, but it's making boiled eggs because they're really easy, and you can, depending on how cooked you want them, they can be done within 5 minutes, 6, 7. And what I would say is also make a bunch at once too. So if you're making boiled eggs and you are going to have them over the next few days, then don't make just one. Make maybe 3 or 4 or 5, depending on how many you're going to eat. Because again, you can purpose it in different ways too. So if you're having a boiled egg one morning, just make some extra. Then you have some for that day. You have extra for breakfasts during the week. You have some that you could potentially make into an egg salad for lunch or dinner. You could also chop up the eggs and put them in a salad to kind of up the protein for the salad. So that's a quick and easy one. Another one is doing an avocado toast on a gluten-free or a grain-free bread. So you get good fats from the avocado. And I would recommend pairing that with the boiled eggs, so you get your protein and your fats in one meal. And some grain-free breads that I recommend that are either made from almond flour or coconut flour. If you ever go to Mother's Market, they have what's pacha buckwheat bread. That's really good. And Base Culture is another brand that I enjoy. I kind of like to switch up the grain-free breads from time to time, because I feel like you need a little variety from time to time, and you can kind of get over having the same one. So if you're feeling, with making changes to your foods, getting kind of in a rut with having the same thing over and over again, I would encourage you to try different brands, all with, good ingredients. That way you can get different flavors and different tastes and that type of thing. For this next one, it's quick and easy to make, but you do have to prep it in advance, and that's chia pudding. It is really quick to make though. With chia pudding, again, it has a lot of good fats to keep you satiated and protein from the chia seeds. So I would recommend soaking about a 1/4 cup, maybe a little bit less than that, depending on how much you want to have, with a cup of non-dairy unsweetened milk. And sometimes I like to mix my milks, so maybe I'll do a 1/2 cup of almond milk, which is a little bit thinner, and a half cup of like coconut milk or hemp milk, which is a little bit thicker. And it just like adds to the flavor profile of it, I think. And if you can just do the chia and the milk and keep it really simple, I like to have it be a little bit sweeter. So I'll add in, you know, about 5 or so drops of liquid stevia. You can also add in like a pure monk fruit. That would work really well too. And then other mix-in options you could do would be like berries, like blueberries. You could add, you know, for texture, other nuts and seeds. So you could do pumpkin seeds. Sprouted pumpkin seeds would be really great. Hemp seeds, slivered almonds. You could also add like almond butter, vanilla extract, coconut. You could add in like warm spices like cinnamon, so you can kind of jazz it up. And you could again add variety, you know, week to week by adding in different mix-ins, or by the day adding in different mix-ins. So if you're making chia pudding, just like I mentioned with the eggs, you know, make a couple at once if you're gonna make them. If you don't have time, that's fine too. But if you can spare an extra few minutes, then make a few of them, and you can add different fixings to different ones. So maybe you do like a blueberry one, maybe you do an almond butter one, maybe just a plain vanilla one. That way it's not so redundant and you add some more variety in there. Another option for breakfast that could also be a snack would be an unsweetened plain yogurt, like a goat yogurt or a sheep yogurt or coconut yogurt. I want to emphasize plain and unsweetened because when you do get those yogurts at the grocery store that already have the fruit mixed in, a lot of times there's a lot of added sugar, so want to do your best to avoid those. When you get something plain, you can choose to sweeten it on your own, and then you have full control over the ingredients and how sweet it is and what sweetener you're using. So just like the chia pudding, you could go for those same kind of mix-ins where you're doing the berries or the chia seeds, the hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds, coconut, whatever you like. The goat and the sheep yogurt will have protein naturally. The coconut won't. They'll all have good, you know, probiotics, but with the coconut, you'll want to be mindful that you try to add some protein with it. So you could do a boiled egg on the side. You can make sure that you add in some chia or some hemp seeds to it to get some protein there. Both of those options would be really good. And then another option for breakfast would be a protein shake. And that could simply be, you know, a protein powder and almond milk or some kind of non-dairy nut or seed milk. Some protein powders that I recommend are like egg white based protein powders. So J-Rob egg white protein powder. Julian Bakery has an egg white protein powder. Seed-based ones, so you might see like hemp seed powder. I like to use Sacha Inchi seed powder. I like the taste of it in my shakes. I also put it in my buckwheat. I think it has good flavor. Ancient Nutrition and Paleo Pro, those are non-plant based ones. They're meat ones, but they have really clean ingredients, so you could choose that too if that's what you like. So yeah, again, you could keep it simple and have it just be the non-dairy milk and the protein powder, but I think it's like a good opportunity for you to bulk up your protein shake and get more veggies in by adding in some veggies. So you could do some frozen greens, right? When I go to the grocery store, I just get like a big bag of greens, or you can get them and chop them up. And maybe I'll take half out to use for cooking, and then I'll just put like the other half in the freezer if I know I'm not going to use it right away. And that way I can just throw the greens in the smoothie. And when you have your veggies frozen for smoothies and shakes, I feel like it tastes a lot better. It's a lot more palatable. Another veggie that I use for shakes and smoothies is zucchini. So you don't have to cook the zucchini before you freeze it, but I do think it tastes a little bit better. So I'll just go get a bunch of zucchini at the store, wash it, chop it up, lightly steam it, literally just for like 2 to 3 minutes, and then stick it all in the freezer. So there is like a little bit of prep work involved, but when you put everything together, it's really fast and you have those things available to you. So get some veggies in your shake. You can also use like a veggie powder, you know, like a spirulina or something like that, that also has good protein and good phytonutrients. And then in addition to the protein powder, the almond milk or whatever milk you're using, and the veggies, you can go for some good fats. So again, chia, flax, hemp seeds, almond butters. You can put in like a half an avocado, and that kind of gives it that creaminess, like if you were to put a banana in it. The zucchini does the same thing too, and that's why I like it. It's kind of like an unsweetened banana. But you can also use half an avocado, and that'll kind of give it that thicker consistency, and you can actually eat it like a smoothie bowl if that's what you like. Hi, Anjana. And if you want it a little bit sweeter, then again, you can have that control by using a liquid, good quality stevia or a pure monk fruit. So that's the protein shake recipe. And then, you know, if you are really in a rush, and one thing I want to say about the protein shake is, if you are like prepping it in the morning for breakfast, one thing you can do to save time is put everything in like the blender cup the night before, and then keep that in the fridge, and then in the morning it's just you turning on the blender, really, and that will save you a lot of time, especially if you're short on time in the morning. And then going back to, if you're really short on time in the morning, say you woke up really late and you're kind of trying to rush out the door and don't have any time for all the prep work that I just mentioned, is grab like a handful of raw nuts and seeds. It's not necessarily going to be a sufficient breakfast, but it's going to at least put something in your belly with, you know, good fats and good proteins that's going to be able to carry you until you are able to, you know, spend a little bit more time sitting down, having breakfast, and, you know, having more food options available. But I'd say, you know, try not to skip breakfast. I feel like it's a really important meal for the day, especially like in getting energy for the day, in regulating your blood sugar, in keeping your metabolism high. So it's better to eat a little bit of something than nothing at all. And I think, you know, raw nuts and seeds are a good option. Or doing like a quick and easy protein shake with just the powder and the milk. Okay, so those are some breakfast options, and I think all of them work really well for snacks too. So a lot of times, like, I might snack on boiled egg or a chia pudding or a yogurt or a protein shake or raw nuts and seeds. Those are all really good snack options that I recommend too. Okay, so let's move to lunch. So what are some quick and easy meal options for lunch? So you could do one of my kind of like go-to emergency lunches, more or less, when I like don't have any food prepped, is like an easy tuna salad. And I keep like a wild caught tuna. You could also do like canned wild caught salmon too. I keep that in my pantry at home. I also keep it in like my little cubby at work for just like an extra can or two for when I'm in a bind and I need something to eat. So you can obviously have it plain, but again, I would encourage you to really beef it up using veggies. And so you can drain the tuna or the salmon, and you can add in some avocado, or some avocado for creaminess. You could also do a good quality mayo or a mixture of both. What I want to say about mayo is make sure you look at the ingredients list. You want to avoid refined oils. A lot of times you'll see like canola oil or something like that in your mayo. So good for a good quality mayo, maybe one that has avocado oil instead. You can also add into the tuna some green onion, some chopped up celery, chopped up dill pickles, dill pickle juice, and then you can mix all those together, and you can just eat it, you know, on its own, or you can pair it with like put it in a wrap, like a grain-free wrap, or with grain-free or seed crackers, and then you could also put it on top of a salad and have it be the protein for your salad. You can also eat it in like a lettuce wrap too. That would work really well. You can do that same thing that I just said with the tuna salad, but you could use boiled eggs instead. So again, going back to like trying to make things in batch. If you're making a bunch of boiled eggs at once, you could do an egg salad, and you could use the same ingredients and pair it with the same types of foods. I also sometimes, again, adding variety, I like to switch it up. So you can do that traditional tuna salad, or I like to kind of make an Asian version of it. And so that would be like the tuna, avocado, and then instead of the celery and dill pickles, I would add in like coconut aminos to flavor it. And if I have it, like chopped up kimchi, and I would wrap it. You can get like the seaweed, like the dried seaweed, and I put it in the seaweed and eat it like that. And it's a really good, satisfying meal or snack idea. Okay, another idea I have for you, and this is something that I do from time to time, is like I call it an adult Lunchable, a Lunchable. So you remember the Lunchables that I'm sure they may still have, but when I was growing up, Lunchables were a very common food in like elementary school and that type of thing, and they would pair like crackers and cheese and like sliced turkey or meat in there. So it's kind of like doing the same thing. You're choosing some ready-to-eat foods and you're placing them in a container, preferably glass, and keeping the items separated. So I'll give you some ideas of what can go in your Lunchable, and you can just choose 2 or 3 or 4, depending on what you like. And again, you could switch it up week to week to add variety to your food routine. So for the protein, you could do some sliced organic turkey meat or roast beef or ham, and there's no prep work that you need to do for those items. You could do some boiled eggs. Hopefully you've batch cooked them so you have them for the week. You could add some veggies. So you could get veggies that are already cut up. So some examples would be celery, jicama, carrots, dill pickles right out of the jar. Sometimes I get like the pre-cooked beets from the store, and I'll use those either as a snack or in a salad, or for this purpose in the adult Lunchable. And you could also do cucumber, which you could slice up really fast and easy. If you don't like your veggies plain, which I don't necessarily like them plain either, then as part of your Lunchable, you could do like a nut butter, like an almond butter or a sunflower seed butter. You could do guacamole. You can make a tahini dip. You could do hummus. And a lot of these too, they'll have like single size portions. So if you are on the go or something like that, then you can bring one of those with you. If you're at home, then obviously you can just use what you have available at your house, and you don't have to get the single size portions. And I do something similar at work too, where it's like if I know I'm going to be using something pretty regularly, then I'll just keep it in the fridge here. So I'll keep like an almond butter in the fridge, or I'll keep like a big jar of sauerkraut, or a big jar of pickles, and that way I'm not like having to pack like one pickle a day and just bringing it to work, but I'll have it for the week or like 2 weeks time, depending on how long it takes me to go through it. Other things that can go in your adult Lunchable would be raw nuts and seeds. You could do some raw goat cheese or raw sheep cheese. You could do some grain-free chips or crackers, but I would just be mindful not to overdo it on those. Make sure you're focusing on the proteins and the veggies and the fats. Okay. Another quick and easy meal idea for lunch is turkey lettuce wraps. So you can keep it really simple. You can wrap lettuce and turkey. If you want, you can add pickle, avocado. You can do some kind of mayo or spread, add sprouts, and you can just have it in the lettuce wrap, or you're welcome to use a grain-free wrap or an egg white wrap, which has really good protein too, so that'll keep you satiated. And if you are, again, if you're short on time to meal prep, this is something that I do, is like if I know that this week at work I might have lettuce wraps like 2 or 3 times a week. I'll just bring everything with me to work, like deconstructed. So I'll bring like a pack of organic turkey meat, I'll bring a jar of pickles, I might bring like 1 or 2 whole avocados, and then like a package of the egg white wraps, and I'll just wrap it. It'll take me like just a few minutes to spend like every day at lunch making that wrap, because I already have the stuff there. And so that way, again, you're not like taking things back and forth from your house. It's already just available for you. And obviously if you work from home, then all that stuff is already there in your pantry, which makes it really simple. So another quick and easy meal idea for lunch is you could just throw together a quick and easy salad, and you can go and you choose a protein. So maybe you're choosing, like, you can do a sliced up like ham or turkey or something like that from the grocery store. Some easy lettuce greens like romaine or iceberg, and then you can go crazy with your mix-ins. So maybe you add in some chopped up celery, cucumber. You can add a bunch of seeds like pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds. You could do some fats like a raw goat cheese, a sheep feta, and you can use sauerkraut for good probiotics. Some quick and easy dressings would be olive oil, salt, and like an apple cider vinegar. If you don't have apple cider vinegar, some other options would be like just using the juice from your dill pickles, or using the juice from the sauerkraut. So would be really easy to kind of whip a salad together. Again, no cooking involved. You just might have to like chop, and with the either canned protein or the like sliced turkey meats, those are ready to go and won't require any cooking too. Okay, so those are some go-to lunch options that I make from time to time when I'm really short on time, or maybe haven't meal prepped as much for the week. I want to give you some dinner options too. So I know it can be overwhelming to always be cooking dinner every night, and so when you are short on time to meal prep, make it easy on yourself. Get things that are maybe like partially ready for you, veggies that are pre-cut and pre-washed. I like to focus on eating like whole food and cooking things from scratch, but sometimes it's really helpful when things are like partially ready for you. So one thing you can do is if you go to a health food store like Sprouts or Whole Foods, then you can get an organic rotisserie chicken, and you can use that a lot of different ways. So you could make it into a chicken salad, so just like the recipes I gave you and the mix-in options for the tuna salad or egg salad, you can make a healthy chicken salad. You can also just do the chicken itself and pair it with veggies on the side. So some quick and easy veggies that cook really fast, like squash, so either green squash or zucchini squash, asparagus. Again, you can get these like pre-cut to save you time. I feel like avocado I add a lot because you don't have to do anything to it. It's pretty much ready to go. And then riced hearts of palm. So I've seen this at Trader Joe's lately, and you just like simmer it on the stove for a few minutes. I like to add, garlic and ginger just to spice it up, but if you don't have time to do that, then you don't have to use it. And you could pair that with the rotisserie chicken. Other things you could do with rotisserie chicken is you can throw it on top of salad greens. You can chop off a few fresh veggies, add the dressing, and if you want cheese or seeds, add that in too. That's a good way to use it. That's quick and easy. Other preparations would be using like hearts of palm noodles or shirataki noodles. Those are pretty quick and easy too. You can pair it with so you have the rotisserie chicken, the hearts of palm noodles, and you could do like a store-bought pesto if you want, or you can do homemade if you have time. But if you have the store-bought one, then I'd say go for like a non-dairy option, and mix it with that. And always consider upping your veggie intake, so you could add in some Swiss chard or some asparagus, zucchini. At Trader Joe's, they also have these like gluten-free chicken meatballs that are pre-cooked, and they have really clean ingredients. They're in the refrigerated section with the produce and kind of like the ready to eat foods, but those would be a great option for when you're short on time too. You know, these things are like minimally processed, so I wouldn't say like, yeah, I have this every day, but I think once in a while to help yourself out is fine. I also, you know, will do, and you can mix up the flavors. So I just gave you that option to use like pesto and chicken noodles. You could also do like an Asian stir fry where you're using chopped up veggies like say celery or bok choy, onion. You could stir fry those veggies with the hearts of palm noodles and with the rotisserie chicken, and you can use seasonings like coconut aminos, salt, ginger, garlic, sesame seed oil, and you can make a preparation that way. So then you have a lot of different ways that you could use a rotisserie chicken that are gonna make a quick and easy meal for you. Another protein that another option for a protein that cooks really fast is like if you're doing salmon fillets. And in particular, if you're using an air fryer, then salmon fillets can be done in 10 minutes. I usually will season salmon with like a little bit of chopped up garlic and coconut aminos. That's kind of my go-to, but you can also do like lemon and dill and other spices. One thing that I want to mention about using the air fryer, but also applies to if you're like cooking the food in the oven or on the grill, is a lot of recipes will say, you know, put oil on the food or marinate the food in oil before putting it in the air fryer or oven or grill. I would advise against that because essentially you're just cooking the food in hot oil or essentially like frying it. And so what I would say is season your food well. Use salt, use garlic, use whatever herbs you're going to use, and then put it in the air fryer or the oven or the grill. Allow it to cook through, and then when it's done, take it off, let it cool for a little bit, and then you can season it with the oils on top. That way you get all the integrity of using those like cold fats, because it does change when you heat those fats up, so you want to try to avoid that. Another thing I'll say about the air fryer too is be mindful of what it's made out of. So I would recommend, if you're going and using an air fryer, getting a stainless steel one. A lot of other ones are made from like Teflon, which can leach chemicals into your foods. So just something to be mindful of. Another thing that you consider too is instead of using aluminum foil to cook your foods, consider parchment paper, which won't leach, and that would be a good option. And let me see here, and then just like the rotisserie chicken, you know, you could pair that salmon in the same ways. So you could put it on top of a salad. You could put it you could put some quick and easy veggies on the side of it. You could put it in with like pasta or noodles or something like that. So just switching out the protein, but kind of using those same ingredients. Okay, so another protein for dinner would be like grass-fed burgers. So you can, again, go to your health food store, get some grass-fed beef patties, whether they are in like the refrigerated section, those ones will be ready to go. You can get the frozen ones too, but you'll just have to remember to take them out to defrost for when you're ready to use them. But those you can just cook on a pan, say like a cast iron pan. Those are really good and they won't leach. So you put it in a heated pan with a little salt, and you can cook each side for 3 to 4 minutes, and they're going to be ready to go really fast. With grass-fed burgers, you can eat them protein style with just some lettuce, pickles, onions, and tomatoes. And you could pair your burger with some freshly cut up veggies like celery, jicama, carrots, snap peas, and either with dip or even a salad on the side. So that's a really quick and easy meal option. Another option I wanted to present you with is, you know, recently I found a paleo, like pre-cooked meal options at Sprouts, Mothers, and Whole Foods, and it's called Kevin's, I think it's like Kevin's Natural Foods. And so they're minimally processed, ready to eat meals. They have really clean ingredients. So it's basically like a sous vide chicken or beef dish, and they'll have the chicken separated from the sauce, and you're basically just throwing those both in the pan to reheat. I would always recommend adding more veggies, or because it doesn't really come with veggies, so it just comes with the protein in the sauce. So you want to make sure you're getting sufficient vegetables and added fats on the side. And again, it is minimally processed, so I wouldn't say, yeah, that's great to have every day, but maybe once a week to save you time, to make it, you know, easier for you to have a homemade meal instead of going out is going to be a better option for you. Okay, so those were some dinner options. I want to give you some options for snacks that are quick and easy. So one of my go-tos, raw nuts and seeds. They're really easy to transport as well. So if you know that you're on the go a lot, or you're not, it's going to be a while before you can sit down and have lunch, or you're going to be in traffic or in a rush, then those are really easy to keep in your desk or in your purse or in your car if it doesn't get too hot. You could, again, it's kind of like what I mentioned for breakfast, have a little bit and allow it to carry you through to your next meal. So even though raw nuts and seeds can be really good, you don't want to overdo it on them either. So it's whatever you can fit in the palm of your hand and close your hand, that would be a serving size. And depending on the person, usually like 2 to 4 a day is a decent amount, but we can always test you for that. As I mentioned already, you could do some pre-cut veggies from the grocery store. Sometimes one recommendation I'll give to clients is get the veggie tray. Then it's, you know, throw the dip part away because it's probably not good. But then you already have veggies that are cut up, and it's going to just make things a little bit easier for you. And I also mentioned already doing those single portion like nut butters or guacamole or hummus or garlic dip, or like the full size ones if that's available to you and you're not on the go. Sometimes I just snack on like avocados too. I'll just slice it open. You can put some lemon on it or some coconut aminos. I'll put the furikake seasoning that you can get at Trader Joe's, which is like seaweed and sesame seeds. And I find that really, I find avocados really satiating, like they keep you full for a really long time. Other options, dill pickles. Olives are a great snack. You can get some pre-steamed artichokes, some pre-cooked beets. All those would be quick and easy. You can get dried seaweed. That is a good one for good phytonutrients, and also, hi Roxanne, also iodine. So that's a good one. Boiled eggs, sliced turkey meat, sugar-free jerky. You could do a grain-free granola, and I would recommend getting those granolas that have like protein added. So Julian Bakery does like a paleo, like a pro granola that's just seed-based. So it's like pumpkin seeds, chia seeds. I think there's some coconut in there, but it's just, there's no grains or anything like that. And with the added protein, again, it's going to keep you fuller for longer. That would be a good one to add to the coconut yogurt that I mentioned, because the coconut yogurt won't have a lot of protein, so you'll add some protein that way. So, hi Jade. So you could do, like what I said for breakfast, you do the sheep or goat yogurt. You can do that too as a snack. You can do the protein shake, the chia pudding. So if you guys have any other ideas that you want to throw in for quick and easy options for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, feel free to write those in the comments, because I'm sure everyone else would really appreciate it too. Those are some of the go-to ones that I personally use. And again, I think it's really important. I know it's really great to meal prep, but we also have to be prepared too for maybe when we're short on time. So make sure you keep your pantry stocked. Make sure you make it easy for yourself to have those healthy meals with whatever's in the freezer. And kind of like making that plan of like where you can batch prep a little bit more. Like, okay, I'm going to make this right now. Just make like a few other servings. That way you can continue to use those same foods, maybe repurpose them in different ways. But then I feel like it's easier to eat well when you have the food ready to go. Another tip I'll give is when you go grocery shopping, when you get home from the grocery store from that, wash your veggies right away, because if you have those veggies washed and ready to use, it's just going to be, you're going to open up the fridge later in the week, and it's just going to be so much easier to use them and less stressful than thinking like you open the fridge and the veggies like aren't washed, and that's like another thing you have to do. So try that, and I would recommend that. I think it just makes it easier. And get the stuff that's kind of ready already thanks. So get the stuff that's ready already from when you need it from time to time. All right. I will be out of the office next week for a training, but I will be back the following week for our next Facebook Live. And if there's anything you'd like to see me talk about, feel free to write that in the comments. But I know some of you are watching are already my clients, and I appreciate you so much for everything that you're doing in between visits. And if you are new to Natural Healing Center and myself, we'd love to hear from you and talk to you about whatever your health concerns or goals might be. So if there's anything that you'd like to discuss, if you want to hear more about our processes, then let me know either through a comments or a private message, and we can set up a 15-minute complimentary phone call. So yeah, thanks again, you guys, and I will see you soon. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a wonderful evening, and thanks so much for watching.